Dazzle going at it. A length and a half clear of Naturally Blonde, who's asked to get after the top pair third. Breezy Blue traveling comfortably in fourth. Needs racing room. Trying to find that now. A length and a half back to Made to Move as they reach the top of the stretch. Quick Omen hugs the rail and goes on with it. Practical Dazzle now two back in second. Naturally Blonde, Breezy Blue at the rail, followed by Play My Speed, a 16th out. Quick Omen, Naturally Blonde on the outside. Late run from Play My Speed. It's Quick Omen in front, and Quick Omen upsets them in the opener. Naturally Blonde second. It's a very close photo for third between Breezy Blue and Play My Speed. We're in the gate. And they're off. Midnight Love bounces out swiftly. Patron Doro is up close and now up to grab the lead. And in between them, Good Vibes Only now takes second. They are followed by Soul of Midnight racing between horses. Chasing Money. Joe Don Looney is down at the rail, and Midnight Love now outside of that group, but just 4 lengths covers them behind Patron Doro, who heads past the half-mile pole well off the rail. He's a big horse and leads it by 3. Good Vibes Only on the outside as Joe Don Looney takes up the chase within 2 of the pacemaker. Chasing Money is in fourth, 5 lengths off them. Then Midnight Love and a hard-ridden Soul of Midnight. Patron Doro with a quarter of a mile to go. 3-length lead. Joe Don Looney is trying to close the gap in second. These two are pretty much dominating coming to the 8th pole. Patron Doro holding on. Joe Don Looney within a length and a half of him continues to grind away at that lead held by Patron Doro. Patron Doro or Joe Don Looney. Patron Doro just in front. Here is the line. Patron Doro got there. Joe Don Looney certainly gave it all he had. Then it was a battle for third between Chasing Money, who got that third spot in front of Good Vibes Only. In the gate. And they're off. Jubilant Joni and Cavalieri. Cavalieri is a little bit quicker. Platinum Diva comes away in third. Simply Enchanting and Cast Member at the back of the field. Cavalieri has company, and Jubilant Joni wants that lead and gets it. So Cavalieri will track from second, a length back. Another 2 back to Simply Enchanting coming to the 6 furlong pole, and Platinum Diva is fourth, 4 off the lead. 2 more lengths. Cast Member is guided over to the inside. A little bit keen, but 5 lengths covers the entire field. They're on to the backstretch, and it's Jubilant Joni in front by 3/4 of a length to Cavalieri in second. Then Platinum Diva and Simply Enchanting side by side. That pair with 3 to make up, 2 clear of Cast Member. There's a half-mile left to go, and Jubilant Joni is the pace setter, maintaining the lead 3/4 of a length. Cavalieri in second, now turning up the pressure into the far turn. And there goes Cavalieri within a head of Jubilant Joni. Jubilant Joni and Cavalieri, these two sprint past the 3/8 pole, starting to separate themselves as Cast Member moves clearly into third. Cavalieri has her head in front. Jubilant Joni now suddenly a half length back, fully extended second. 6 clear of Cast Member in third. They're at the top of the stretch, and Cavalieri is the boss. Jubilant Joni is not surrendering. She's fighting back willingly, but a length behind. A distance to Cast Member and Simply Enchanting, 16th pole, and Cavalieri is just too strong. Puts away Jubilant Joni officially and will score by 3.5 lengths. Jubilant Joni put up a fight, had to settle for second. Simply Enchanting won the battle for third over Cast Member. They're in the gate. And they're off. Perfect in Gray and Annie Fox are the first two out of the gate. Yo-Yo Mama moving up on the inside now to grab second. They're followed by Like No Other. Sapadilla is down at the rail. A three-wide Talent for Gold second to last, and Respect the Crown at the back of the field. Less than a half mile to go. There's a duel on the front end between Yo-Yo Mama and the heavy favorite Perfect in Gray pressing second. 2.5 more to Sapadilla in third. They're followed by Like No Other, 4 off the pace in fourth, another 2 back to Annie Fox, who's fifth at this stage, 8 lengths off the lead. Talent for Gold and Respect the Crown. Perfect in Gray puts away Yo-Yo Mama. Sapadilla hugs the rail and comes on gamely in second. These two will arrive at the 8th pole together, and Sapadilla's got good momentum inside of Perfect in Gray. Sapadilla on the inside takes the lead. Perfect in Gray trying to battle back second. It is a distance to Like No Other, who's down on the rail in third. It will be Sapadilla and Serafine Carmona to win it in an upset. Perfect in Gray second. Like No Other, Talent for Gold. They're in the gate. And they're off. Ion Rye, Request, who was bumping around a little at the start, is up close. Jimmy Blue Jeans at the rail, and Escape Artist is in the second flight. So by the stands, Jimmy Blue Jeans sets the tempo, prompted by Ion Rye, who's alongside the challenge. Request takes third. Escape Artist now fourth. Old Pal is settled 7 lengths off the lead, and Malibu Coast is just inside of him. It's Jimmy Blue Jeans into the first turn, leading the way over Ion Rye, a length and a half back second. Request third. Escape Artist on the fence in fourth. Then Old Pal and Malibu Coast. 6 furlongs to run. Jimmy Blue Jeans to catch. Leads at a length and a half. Ion Rye is second by 3. Request has to keep pace third. And Escape Artist is down at the rail in fourth. Old Pal is 7 lengths off the lead still, just in front of Malibu Coast. They're coming to the half-mile pole with Jimmy Blue Jeans the target. Ion Rye right on his flank in second. Another 3 back to Request third. Escape Artist at the rail. Old Pal, Malibu Coast. No change in the running order. Around the far turn, Jimmy Blue Jeans a half length. Ion Rye set down now and starts to pick up some momentum. He's right on even terms. 3 back to Request, Escape Artist. Old Pal is next. Malibu Coast pulled up there at the top of the stretch. Can Ion Rye get by Jimmy Blue Jeans in the middle of the course? Here's Escape Artist, had a good trip. Old Pal far outside. A 16th to go, wild finish. Escape Artist emerges with the lead. Old Pal and Request are chasing. Here is the line. Photo finish. It's tight between Escape Artist and an oncoming Old Pal. Close between those two. Request finished third. $50 early pick 5 returns right to the gate. They're in the gate. And they're off. Some awkward steps out of there for Aranza's pass. Watershed Moment is going out for the early lead. Howin has plenty of early speed. Down at the rail, here's Bougie Beach cutting the corner, and Bougie Beach sets up a battle on the front end with both Howin and Watershed Moment. 3 of them vie for the lead. Howin backs off that pace coming to the 6 furlong pole as Watershed Moment is intent on getting to the front. Cedillo now takes Bougie Beach off that pace wisely, and Howin to the outside in third, now taking second. Then Rio del Sol settles nicely in fourth. A gap of 2 back to Twirling Light, who's racing on the inside of Wren, 2 lengths clear of Lady Chic, and after that unfortunate start, Aransas Pass is far back. Half mile left to go. Watershed Moment leads the way. Bougie Beach coming back for more immediately along the inside and is asked to do so as well. Bougie Beach, aggressive to the 3/8 pole, takes the lead away from Watershed Moment, with Howin 3 deep in third, moving up to take second. Bougie Beach and Howin squaring off now. In the meantime, Wren has progressed. Rio del Sol on the outside. Those two move after the top pair. For the back of the field, Aransas Pass trying to make a bid. Lady Chic is next, and Twirling Light. Howin makes the lead at the top of the stretch, opens up 2 on Bougie Beach in second. Wren is coming gamely in the center of the racetrack third, and Aransas Pass. There's an 1/8 of a mile to go, and it's Howin by 3 over Wren, Aransas Pass, and Bougie Beach, a 16th to go, and Howin is clear by 3. Wren cannot get to Howin. Howin is too strong. Howin, another for Juan Hernandez, wins it by almost 4 lengths. Wren second, Aransas Pass, and Lady Chic. Mahina going up. And in. They're in the gate. And they're off. Real Fire hopped in the air at the start. It was a quick start for Cornelia Fort, who's now taken back. Monjica coming through along the inside of Ultimate High. Behind them, Miss Brightside is third through the opening stages. Cornelia Fort with Hannah Buckle between those two. Lady Claypool is on the rail, 8 lengths off the lead, followed by Mahina. Real Fire is second to last, going a bit wide, and Miss Meager trails. Around the first turn, and it's Monjica showing the way by 2.5 lengths, with Ultimate High racing in second as they swing on to the back stretch. Then Cornelia Fort and Miss Brightside third and fourth, 3 lengths clear of an unhurried Hannah Buckle, who settles nicely while in hand fifth. Down at the rail, Lady Claypool is trying to make an early bid with a 3 wide Mahina outside of them, Real Fire, and Miss Meager at the back. Monjica takes him into the far turn, 1.5 lengths in front of Ultimate High. They've been 1-2 the whole way, with Miss Brightside at the rail in third. Cornelia Fort losing some ground now fourth. Now Hannah Buckle is called on in fifth, has 5 to make up, racing 2 in front of Mahina. Outside of them, Real Fire trying to pick up some momentum and is doing so. Real Fire is sweeping up while 5 wide but closing. They're at the top of the stretch. Monjica in front, Ultimate High alongside in second, and here's Mahina splitting rivals nicely. Mahina and Real Fire are both coming. It's Mahina in front at the 16th pole under very nice handling from Hector Barrios, and Mahina is the winner. Tight photo, noses bobbing up and down. Ultimate High and Monjica behind them. It was Hannah Buckle in another photo with Miss Brightside. Mischievous, very restless in the gate is Wise Counsel. And they're off. Brave Blend broke inward, but did break alertly. Arabian Flirt, Mirahmadis is up close in the early going, and Harry Houdini makes it 4 virtually in a line, but Mirahmadis is the quickest. Then it's Malibu Rock sprinting through along the rail, only 2 lengths off the lead. They're followed by a bit Mischievous, who's toward the back of the field, the 2 trailers, Schaffner and Wise Counsel at the back of the field. They're coming to the 6 furlong pole, and Juan Hernandez has the favorite, Mirahmadis, bounding along with a 3-length lead. Arabian Flirt is in second, followed by Malibu Rocks and Harry Houdini, 7 lengths off the pace. Another 2 back to Brave Blend, who's followed by a bit Mischievous. Second to last is Schaffner and Wise Counsel at the back. They have 4.5 furlongs to go, and Mirahmadis in charge has opened up a 6-length lead. Malibu Rocks now starting to close in, as is Arabian Flirt in between horses, and Harry Houdini. That trio now 3 lengths off Mirahmadi as they go into the far turn. Brave Blend 6 lengths off them. It's another 3 to Schaffner outside, a bit mischievous, and Wise Counsel at the back. They're coming to the quarter pole, and Mirahmadi got a breather, maintains a 4-length lead on Harry Houdini, who's now a clear-cut second. Here's Schaffner starting to pick it up on the extreme outside. They turn for home, and it's Mirahmadi clear by 6. Harry Houdini is in second. On the outside, Schaffner continues to make headway, a bit mischievous, but it's cap and gown time for Mirahmadi, who's a maiden no more. Mirahmadi trounces them, will win by 10 lengths. Schaffner completes the exacta, a bit mischievous third, and it's a photo between Harry Houdini and Malibu Rocks. Congratulations to Jordan and Forrest. Bob Baffert's son Forrest got married today, and that's 3 for the Hall of Famer. And they're off. Fast start for Sassy Nature. Big Summer on the extreme outside came away in good order, and Grand Slam Smile now moves clearly into second. Stay and Scam is fourth, already 6 lengths off the lead, followed by Prancing Through Paris, who races just in front of Diamond Bar Gal. Diamond Bar Gal a good 12 or 14 lengths off the pace. Andiamo Ragazza is next, racing a couple of lengths clear of Chismosa outside of Rose Maddox, and it's a big gap to the trailer at the back of the field. Down the hill they go, and they are chasing Sassy Nature. Sassy Nature is in front by 4 lengths coming to the quarter pole. That trailer, by the way, is Revelation. It is Sassy Nature, Grand Slam Smile taking aim, and Stay and Scam is moving through in the purple colors, angling out for the drive, trying to take a crack at Sassy Nature. Here comes Stay and Scam. Andiamo Ragazza's in the center of the course, starting to pick up some late ground, just behind Big Summer, a 16th to go. Big Summer now coming after the new leader, Grand Slam Smile. Grand Slam Smile, full a run though, and Grand Slam Smile has won the California Distaff under a perfect ride from Frank Alvarado. Big Summer was second. Then it was a battle between Andiamo Ragazza and Stay and Scam.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to a Sunday afternoon of racing here at St. Anita, or as I like to call it today, Carryover City. That's because we've got two carryovers today at the Great Race Place. First of all, a $2 pick six of $56,000. Also, a $1 super high five carryover of $19,000. That will occur in race number 9. And a gentleman who is used to very large pari-mutuel fields. That's because he used to be the executive director of racing for the Hong Kong Jockey Club. As our seminar guest today, his name, Bill Nader. Bill, happy Sunday. Welcome to the seminar.
Great to be here, Tom.
It's great to have you here. Long overdue, that's for sure. Let's talk about your background, Bill, first. You were born in New Hampshire, and you grew up basically at Rockingham Park. What was your first introduction to racing? Did your friends bring you to the racetrack? Did your parents bring you to the racetrack? How did it all start?
Well, my father desperately wanted me to come with him to Rockingham. We were literally a mile away, and I never really wanted to go. And then I saw Secretariat win the Belmont Stakes, win the Triple Crown, and then I said, okay, let's go. And he would only go on Sundays for maybe 3 races.
So your dad was a weekend warrior,
weekend warrior. And I went, I just fell in love with it. It was incredible. I would hang out by the paddock, watch the horses there, and one thing led to another. And then soon thereafter, while I was still in school, I got a summer job there, and the rest is. And by the way, that's been my entire life in terms of my work life. That summer job, once I graduated, right away, I had 2 job offers from 2 different racetracks. Never had to really fill out a resume or anything. The jobs were waiting for me, and it was just great. And it's been that way all the way through.
At Rockingham Park, you kind of sat in my chair. You did a lot of things there, and you also hosted a seminar show just like this. And then you spent some tenure there, but then you moved on to the New York Racing Association. You had a great run there as well. Tell us some of the things you were involved with there. I think you worked with Alan Gutterman, our dear friend that we both know. You guys really kind of set the stage for what other tracks around the country copied.
Yeah, Alan brought me in, and I'm glad that he did. And he was very patient. I couldn't really take the job when he first offered it because Rockingham was still in full swing. But being there was great. Anyone who's in New England has a love affair with New York racing, not just Saratoga, but also Belmont Park and Aqueduct. And to be there and be part of it was great. I started there, quickly moved into simulcasting, which was a great opportunity for me because Naira had the engine but didn't have the distribution. So to go in there and take over in simulcasting and really be able to disseminate that great product across the country was a great breakthrough for me. And that's why I got recognized. And then Barry Schwartz became chairman of the board, and right away he made me senior vice president and chief operating officer, and from there it went. I was there probably 13, 14 years. Loved every minute of it. Thought I would spend the rest of my career there, but then the opportunity came to go to Hong Kong, and of course I took that.
You're very well dressed. Did Barry ever offer you any Calvin Klein clothes?
Well, you know what? He had great seats for Yankee games and great seats for Knick games. So that's,
and he loved racing.
And he still does. And we're still great friends. And I remember going into his offices in the city, and everything was like his racing colors, black and white. And but great man. He did so much for me, and we remained great friends. And he with the New York breeding program and his passion and love for racing and his dedication. We went through a lot. I mean, the 2001 Breeders' Cup right after 9/11, Barry was there, myself. That was something that I'll never forget. 6 weeks after 9/11, the Breeders' Cup was at Belmont. So many great memories there. But can't say enough about my years in New York.
California horse won the Breeders' Cup Classic. Tis now Tom Durkin with the Classic Call wins one for America. Then in 2007, let's fast forward, Bill, you actually got an opportunity or a position at the Hong Kong Jockey Club. What did you learn most from that? Because to me, that's the most intriguing aspect of your resume, is going overseas, being an American. What did you take away from that and bring back to the United States?
I think the one thing that they do incredibly well is customer segmentation. I mean, whether the customer is the owner or the casual player or a core customer or a high-end customer, they do such a great job of understanding what each customer segment wants, not only in terms of if they're coming on course to be at the racetrack, to make sure that they're looked after there, but even if they're betting from wherever they are. Because in Hong Kong not only has the 2 racetracks in Hong Kong and the training center in China, Chongfa, which will soon be a live racetrack, but also they have all the 100 off-course betting sites, and they do all the account wagering. They have their own tote system. It's really a powerful engine. Every touch point, end to end, is mapped perfectly so the customer experience is at its very best. Owners are treated like absolute kings. They understand that their contribution to put the players on the field is so important. Look, they really have it right. And the way they do it there, and what makes them incredibly unique, is as a not-for-profit, they return so much back in parimutuel taxes, or what they call betting duty. But even from their own reserves, their charitable contribution to Hong Kong ranks them number 5 in the world as the biggest charity donor worldwide.
Wow.
And so when you go through Hong Kong and you look at the parks, the hospitals, education, arts, everything, it is funded in part by channeling gaming responsibly through the Hong Kong Jockey Club, and then giving back to the community, both in tax donation and charity contribution.
We'll circle back to your Hong Kong experience in a moment, but now you're currently the president and the CEO of the TOC, Thoroughbred Owners of California. And one thing you've been instrumental in doing this year, Bill, is basically making the California simulcast feed available to Hong Kong players, specifically on Pacific Classic Day at Del Mar, and specifically on California Crown Day here at St. Anita. You imported, or exported, I should say, 3 races on Pacific Classic Day, 5 races on California Crown Day. I'm fairly comfortable in saying, without knowing, that we couldn't have accomplished that without the relationships you have with the Hong Kong Jockey Club. Tell us briefly how important that is, because they're limited in terms of the number of races they can take from around the world.
Yeah, they have a limited quota. When I first went to Hong Kong, it was only 10 races a year that could be imported to Hong Kong, and they had to be run on Hong Kong race days. Otherwise, they were not available. We were able to work with government. This became something that I had to take on as my own initiative, to work with different levels of government, inland revenue, finance, home affairs, to get them comfortable with the idea that more simulcast opportunities should be made available to the Jockey Club. And secondly, that we could sell our races across the world and allow countries like America, Australia, Europe to commingle into the Hong Kong pools. There was great liquidity there, and it was very attractive to a global audience, but we didn't have the mechanism in place to be able to make that happen. The hiccup there would be that they wanted the bets to be taxed and Hong Kong to get a piece of all the wagers that were placed outside of the country, but we finally convinced them the bet is only taxed in the jurisdiction in which it's placed. That came together, so now Hong Kong is able to export their content across the world, and now they can import more, but it's still limited. We did have the races that you talked about on Pacific Classic Day and California Crown Day, but to put it in perspective, on Breeders' Cup Day, there will only be 2 races, the Turf and the Classic. That shows you how tight the quota is.
We're just getting warmed up with a very interesting and informative Bill Nader. He's the president and CEO of the Thoroughbred Owners of California Group. Before we find out who Bill likes on today's 9-race card, let's get the early scratches from track announcer Frank Mirahmadis. Don't move, don't go anywhere. We'll resume shortly, right after we get those scratches from Frank.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Santa Anita Park. The Padres are done. The Dodgers play tonight. The track is fast. The turf course is firm. And the rail on the turf is out 20 feet. Here are the changes. In the first, no scratches or jockey changes. In race 2, just the blinker note. And race number 3 has no program changes. Turning to race 4, we start the $2 pick 6, and we do have a carryover in the pick 6 of more than $56,712. Number 5, Becky's Dream, will carry £1 over. Race 5 starts the all-turf pick 3 and the 50-cent late pick 5. Scratch number 11, the also eligible Quality wins. In the 6, take out the 8, Rhyme or Reason, late pick 4 starts. The 7th is the California Flag. Number 4, Last Call London, £3 over. Scratch 5, Big Bet Joffin Safa. And note that number 9, So I'm Told, is £2 over. The $3 late pick 3 new wager this year starts with race 7. The $5 late double, also a new wager with the friendly 15% takeout. Take out the 10, going with her, and scratch 13, Hearts Fantasy. 10 and 13 are out of the 8th. And in the 9th, we have the program scratch of number 9, English Icon. No one hit the super high 5, which is offered only on the last race now. And we have 19,000 in that carryover. We should have a huge pool in the super high 5, as well as, of course, the pick 6. Enjoy your afternoon at Santa Anita Park. 57 minutes to post for race number 1. Let's go back to Quigley's Corner. Tom's very special guest today is Bill Nader, the President and Chief Executive Officer of the TOC, the Thoroughbred Owners of California.
Welcome back. We're talking horses with Bill Nader. He's the president and CEO of the Thoroughbred Owners of California. It's our pleasure to have him on our show, on our seminar today. Bill, before we take a look at today's 9-race card, a question for you, really a follow-up question. You talked about Hong Kong wagering on our races, both on Pacific Classic Day and California Crown Day. How much did Hong Kong wager on those races?
Well, it's amazing, Tom, because it's so early in the morning there. It's a 15-hour time difference. And a race like the California Crown would have been at, I think, about 7:40 a.m. But the difference
on Sunday morning.
On Sunday morning,
right.
yeah. And on the difference between Pacific Classic Day and California Crown Day was literally $129 US. Each day did just about 5.5 million US.
$5.5 million US.
Virtual dead heat in terms of money wagered. There were 3 on Pacific Classic Day. There were only 4 on. You mentioned 5. It was actually 4 on California Crown Day. And California Crown Day, while it had the extra race, it was earlier, and that was the penalty. I mean, the races were on Pacific Classic Day. The last race that was run on the day was at, I think, at 9:40 a.m. in Hong Kong, whereas the last race on Cali Crown Day was at 8:15 a.m.
We see a lot of horses import from Japan and run in the Breeders' Cup. We don't see that many horses coming over from Hong Kong. Is there either a restriction on them running in the Breeders' Cup, or is it just not fit the racing calendar simply because so many of their championship races are in December?
Good question. The reason is because the premier races in Japan and in Hong Kong are both run around the same time. In Japan, there's the Mile Championship in mid-November and the Japan Cup in late November. So you won't see really the milers or the mile and a half, the real top mile and a half horses in Japan come to the Breeders' Cup. What you do see is some of the good fillies and others that might fit a different, range of races. But the mile and the mile and a half for Japan would pretty much be off the books. In Hong Kong, the big races are always run on the second Sunday in December, and they don't really have many top dirt horses, though you might remember a horse called Rich Tapestry that came over and won the Grade 1 Santa Anita Sprint and was actually favored in the Breeders' Cup Sprint on dirt, which was really incredible, given that there's no stake race in Hong Kong for any dirt horse. But he was exceptional, won the Santa Anita Sprint, but unfortunately ran poorly as the favorite in the Breeders' Cup Sprint that year.
Bill, let's put your worldwide expertise to use today on today's 9-race card. As you can see on the screen, we've got 2 carryovers today on today's 9-race card at Santa Anita. Pick 6 carryover, $56,000, $19,000 super high 5 carryover in the last race, race number 9. But let's kick things off in race number 1, which begins the popular 50-cent early pick 5. We're sprinting 6 furlongs in the turf course. Maiden special weight 2-year-olds is the category. Turf rails today are at 20 feet. We've got a good field of 10. Morning line favorite in the current betting choice at 5-2 is number 7, Charlie's to Blame. Although number 3, Soy Engine, is also getting some action at 5-2. 10 different ways you can go here, Bill. Which way are you going and why?
Well, I like to look at the pace scenario, Tom, and I think in this race, the pace will be more of a modest tempo. There's not a lot of known speed in the race. And I expect the winner of this race would come from midfield or better. I don't think the deep closers would really factor in. So I looked at number 8, Lock and Farrow. I think it's an intriguing first-time starter, a homebred for Larry Williams. He can pick up where he left off last night when Grand Slam Smile won the California Distaff.
For trainer Steve Specht, what a great performance that was at big price.
Big one. And American Farrow, as we all know, the American Farrows run well on the turf out of a Seeking the Gold mare that produced 7 foals, 6 to win. And and she herself was an allowance winner on the turf at Del Mar. Blondie's good with first timers. He's good with newcomers. I think there's a lot to like here, and my view is it's a good value play. Underneath, number 7, Charles to Blame. I think it's the logical play. Second-time starter, stepping up in trip, first time on grass, riskily riding. The debut race was promising, but I think he does need further. So the extra 16th of a mile should be an advantage. A sharp work on the Tapeta. I have him right in the mix.
8 and 7 for Bill Nader in race number 1. Take note right now. Current odds on Lock and Pharaoh. Bill's top choice is 14-1. Certainly a big price there. Before we take a look at race 2, Bill, another question for you. Your current position is to be the president and CEO of the TOC. What are the main objectives of the TOC? You represent the owners, but really, what are your main business objectives as an organization?
Well, certainly to improve in any way the experience for the owner. That's number one, but also the overall health of the industry so that California is positioned to be strong for years to come. I think there's been obviously great history and great tradition, and California has been such a big part of racing, not only domestically, but even globally, especially with our presence in hosting so many Breeders' Cups, especially in the last 14 years. California has hosted it 10 times. So I think when you look at everything that we're trying to do, I think it's really the health of the industry and how we make racing, protect and preserve it, and make it stronger for the years to come, not only for owners, but I think for all participants.
One thing horse players watching might not know is the TOC has to approve all new wagers that St. Anita or Del Mar might want to implement. What kind of a decision-making task do you guys do before you actually either approve or decline a wager?
Well, we do have a wagering committee that's chaired by Samantha Siegel, and we'll get together and discuss those things, and also approve all simulcast contracts. So that's probably the bigger part of it. But the new wager types will work collaboratively with the racetracks and try to make things happen. We look at it from the lens of really us as an owners group, also the racetracks, but certainly also the customer.
Well, you've certainly made inroads with some of the new wagers, the $3 late pick 3 and the $5 late daily double. They've been warmly embraced by the horse players around the country, so thank you for that collaboration. Race number 2 begins the 50-cent early pick 4. We're sprinting 6.5 furlongs on the main track. For maiden special weights, there's just one 4-year-old in the field, but one of the 3-year-olds, number 3, just before dawn, a first-time starter from the Bob Baffert barn, is the 7-5 morning line favorite. Before we get your thoughts on the race, Bill, let's take a look at a workout courtesy of our friends at xbtv.com for number 3, just before dawn. This was a team drill back on October 10th. Just before dawn is down on the inside. This was obviously early morning, which is why the exercise riders are wearing the lighted helmets. But you can see her workmate on the outside is Kalea Bay, who won on California Crown Weekend very impressively, breaking her maiden also for trainer Bob Baffert. So this workout, in my opinion, kind of speaks volumes in terms of the quality that Just Before Dawn might possess. You can see, again, as she's down on the inside, and she rather easily handles her workmate here. We already know that her workmate, as I just mentioned, is a proven maiden special weight winner. The connections did pay quite a bit of money for Just Before Dawn, $625,000, and her dam has had 8 foals. 5 of them have become first-time starter winners. So certainly the precocity is there. He is sired by Justify as well. Just Before Dawn certainly looks solid based upon this workout, which is why our morning line odds maker, Jeff Siegel, probably made him 7-5. But you're looking a different direction, Bill. You're looking for a little bit more value. Tell us who you like and why.
Well, Baffert has been just incredible this season and for many seasons with young horses, especially 2-year-olds. This one is 3 and up. But look, it's a logical horse, but I think I would prefer number 1, Bartholdi. Second start off the claim, coming off a career best effort, draws the rail today and adds blinkers. Now, he had a wide trip in his last start and fought on right to the end. And I think, with his tactical speed, where I suspect he'll be well placed just off the pace. If you can run back to that last race and possibly improve with the addition of blinkers, you have to give him a big chance to break through. And then the horse underneath, I don't want to overlook this horse, number 5, Dagger Ranch. Look, he's lightly raced. He's been freshened up, series of nice works at Los Alamitos, and I just refuse to give up on his pedigree. He's by Curlin. He's out of the great mare Indian Blessing, who was a very accomplished Baffert runner. No less than 6 triple-digit buyers in her career, all on the dirt. And Juan Hernandez takes the ride. So I wouldn't overlook Dagger Ranch.
1 and 5 in race number 2. So says our summoner guest, Bill Nader. His top pick, number 1, Bart Holdy. Take a look at his last effort back on September 8th. Look at the third place finisher who he beat, none other than Mirahmadis, named after our track announcer, Frank Mirahmadis, who emerged victorious yesterday, going 2 turns for trainer Bob Baffert. Congratulations to all the connections, including track announcer Frank Mirahmadis. Race number 3, we're back on the turf course. 1 mile is the distance for fillies and mares, non-winners of 2 races lifetime. $25,000 is the claiming tag. A field of 7, the favorite drawn on the far outside. Number 7, Isabel Ludlow from the Stephen Miotti Bar. Nick Alexander, big supporter of the TOC. Nick can't say no. We're going to see him in the winner's circle after race 3.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I went with number 5, Amelia Bleu. I know you've got a lot of French-speaking people in the audience, so I'm tempted to say Amelia Bleu, but I know better. Look, she's going to be forward, take a sit behind the leaders, and I like that she did not give up the fight when it looked like she was finished at the top of the stretch in her last start. She took on Sweet Laker, who made the pace in the last race, and the closers came swooping late. This race looks a little easier to me, and I believe she'll be tough when the real running begins. So I went with number 5, Amelia Bleu. Underneath, Cheeky Gal, who takes the big class drop today. She stretches out to the mile. The big thing for her is she had no chance in her last start, as the pace and the competition were just too much for her. This is a much softer spot. She has the speed to get to the front, and she's run well on the turf in the past. So I think you just have to include her.
Race number 4 is when the fireworks begin. That's because it's the first leg of the $2 pick 6 with a $56,000 carryover. The sequence was too tough yesterday, so we carry that money into today's pool. Like expectations are, new money might exceed $500,000, and we kick things off in the pick 6 in race 4, sprinting 6 furlongs on the main track for fillies and mares. Allowance optional claiming types, non-winners of 1 other than a field of 6. Maury Lane favorite from the Michael McCarthy Barn, number 1, Pushiness, the Calbred, who's a multiple stakes winner, 8-5 on the Maury line. How'd you see race 4, Bill?
Well, I've got a lot of respect for number 3, Noki. She's been second in her last 4 races, most recently to Hope Road and 1 Magic Filly, and that's some pretty good company lines right there. Now, look, she hasn't come within 5 lengths of the winner in her last 3 races, but I don't hold that against her. She's been consistent. This is a good field, but there's no Hope Road or 1 Magic Filly in here. I think this is her day to get it done. Pushiness, the logical favorite, has a bit of an advantage as she has the speed and the rail, and she's very consistent. She's a quality Calbred, and she has a speed. She's the speed of the speed in the race. Noki will have a job to do to run her down, but that's something that I think she can do, and that's how I see this one. Noki on top with pushiness underneath.
3 and 1 in race 4, Bill. Before we take a look at race number 5, a question for you that I think is on the tips of the tongues of most people watching the seminar right now. You're surrounded by a lot of talented people in the industry. You mentioned Samantha Siegel, Nick Alexander. There's many others that are part of your board. You're obviously privy to a lot of information that those of us on the outside might not be privy to. Do you foresee racing being viable in the next 5 years from now in California?
Oh, that would be a resounding yes. I think there's so many attributes of what we have in California. Number 1, the racetracks, particularly Santa Anita and Del Mar, which are just extraordinary. They're not just among the best in the country; they're among the best in the world. The certainty of racing on turf, which I think is underestimated when you look at the rest of the country. The fact that these races in California stay on the grass and you have that certainty. The quality of the people is another thing. I think the people, the quality of the horses, and as I said earlier, the history and the tradition. I think there's so much to draw upon. I think what we have to do, in a 5-year outlook, is first come up with the right balance between the North and the South, which we're working on now, and that is a work in progress. But to get that right, get the foundation right, so that we can position ourselves not only for the next 5 years, but the next 20 years to go forward and to keep California as strong as it could possibly be. The disadvantage, of course, production costs are high, and we don't have that secondary stream of income. So that's something that we have to continue to work at. That's the hard part. But really having that strong foundation in place, given the assets that we have, yes, absolutely. I wouldn't say just on a 5-year outlook, but much longer than that. It's not without its problems, but I think the strengths far outweigh any weaknesses we might have.
And every problem represents an opportunity. You know that as well. You've solved problems your whole business career. And certainly while there are some hurdles to overcome, like you mentioned, there's so many positive things about California racing that I'm confident that hopefully what you just outlined will become a reality. Race number 5 starts the 50-cent late pick 5 as well as the $3 all turf pick 3. Race 5, the conditions are the exact same as race number 9, so it's a split. Race 5, we're going 1 mile the turf course for maiden claimers. $50,000 is the claiming tag. Scratch the also eligible. Number 11, Quality Wins will not compete. Number 7, In Suspense. And number 1, Sweet Odyssey are both first-time geldings, but the morning line favorite, the very expensive number 10, Nuclear, drawn on the outside, is the 8-5 morning line favorite. Has the best last race fire speed figure, but maybe now is with his friends. Unfortunate for the owners, but maybe good for the players. What say you about race 5, Bill?
Well, here I'm going to go for a big value play. Number 1, What's the Buzz? It's a Calbred dropping into an open company maiden claimer, which is interesting. It's on the rail. Maps to get a nice trip from midfield. Not the best of luck in its last start with a bit of a troubled trip, but I think he should not be easily dismissed in here. Second start back after a bit of a freshening, some good works leading into the race, and I would not be shocked if he ran a big one today. The horse you mentioned, number 10, Nuclear, I put him underneath. He brings in some good form into the race. He was an expensive purchase, but now he's found his spot now in maiden claimers, and he takes a slight drop in company today. Look, he'll be favored, no doubt about it. He might have to do a lot of work from the outside draw to get over and get into a position, and I think he just might be vulnerable. I get it. He's a $1.5 million son of Justify, but he's had his chances. He'll be in the mix, but my preference is maybe to go for the big value and take a shot at a price with What's the Buzz.
Bombs away for Bill Nader. 20-1 on the morning line for his top selection in race 5. Number 1, What's the Buzz? Race number 6 begins the 50-cent late pick 4 sequence. We kick things off sprinting 6 furlongs in the main track for maiden claiming Calbred, fillies and mares. $50,000 is the claiming tag. Take out number 8, Rhyme or Reason, leaves us with a field of 7. The first-time starter, the 4-year-old number 6, Uptown Preacher, is the 5-2 morning line favorite from the Carla Gaines barn. Give us your thoughts on race 6, Bill.
Well, I tried not to overthink this one, and I landed with number 6, Uptown Preacher. It's taken a bit of time to get this filly to the races, but the works are good. And if it's Carla Gaines and Rispoli, it looks to me like they have her in a spot where she can win first time out. Underneath, number 4, Wishes to Riches. Not sure what to make of the 2-month gap between races, but she has speed. She's shown that she's competitive in this spot. And the debut winning filly that she chased all the way around the track at Del Mar in her last start, A Toast to Lanny, came out of that race and improved in her next start, posting a 72 buyer. So you have to respect that. So for me, it's Uptown Preacher and Wishes to Riches.
Race number 7 is our feature race on today's card. Is the California Flag Handicap. $100,000 guaranteed for Calbreds coming down the hillside turf course. Also, race 7 begins a $3 late pick 3 with the low 15% takeout. It's ironic, Bill, that I would have you on the seminar today because you well know who California Flag is. Ridden by Joe Talamo, trained by Brian Corner. He actually ran in the 2009 Hong Kong Sprint Championship. You were in your executive position there. Let's kind of walk down memory lane and watch the entire replay of the 2009 Hong Kong Sprint Championship. California Flag will break from post position number 4 and be wearing the green silks.
National Sprint. And they're racing. And Sacred Kingdom was the first out of the gates. But quickly mustering underneath him, Total Gallery. And Total Gallery and California Flag race for the early lead. And here's the Japanese sprinter, Laurel Guerrero, urged to go forward, wide out. And the 2 expected leaders are there. California Flag and Laurel Guerrero is really pressing the leader into the first turn. Total Gallery takes the sit in 3rd, Cannonball 4th, and Preble's got Sacred Kingdom 5th. Off the course is War Artist from Borderless, got Green Birdie. Scenic Blast back on the fence. Then Joy and Fun, followed then by Apache Cat, who's got 3 behind him. Inspiration, All Silent, and One World's at the tail of the field. They are running quickly in the lead. California Flag in front from Laurel Guerrero. Under the pump, Total Gallery from War Artist. Sacred Kingdom being called upon now. Scenic Blast is back on the fence, labouring. Joy and Fun's working into the clear. All Silent being ridden for luck between them. Apache Cat's too far back, and One World is starting to lengthen now as Sacred Kingdom hits the lead. Sacred Kingdom draws clear in the sprint. One World is coming down the outside, but Sacred Kingdom from One World. Sacred Kingdom a half length.
Bill, the gutsy California Innovator, California Flag, tried really hard there, got hooked up in a speed duel, was leading basically till deep stretch, and then got swallowed up by some quality animals. What do you remember about that afternoon?
Well, that was a field of 14. There were 5 from Hong Kong and 9 foreign horses that came in. Now, California Flag won the race among all the foreign horses. He beat them all. But of the 5 from Hong Kong, they ran 1, 2, 3, 4. and one was out the back. But look, it was a gigantic effort to come in there, a Calbred, taking on. When you look at Hong Kong racing and you think, what's their power zone? It's really sprint and mile. Hong Kong sprinters normally Australian breds, because no horses are bred in Hong Kong. They're all coming in from somewhere else. 70% of those horses are coming from the Southern Hemisphere, which is basically 40% Australia, 30% New Zealand, and the other 30% are coming from the rest of the world. But those Aussie-bred sprinters are really good. Sacred Kingdom was just a giant. He was a legend, one of the great sprinters, of course, Silent Witness and others from Hong Kong. But Sacred Kingdom was right up there. And California Flag, he was only beaten a length and 3/4 for all the money. Joe Talamo rode. Cannonball was in that race. He ran 10th. That was Wesley Ward, and Ramon Dominguez was in the ride. I remember that as well. But look, that was a big effort. And if you win in Hong Kong on one of those international races, they always play the national anthem of the winning country.
Wow.
I never heard the American anthem when I was there. I desperately wanted to hear it. That's about as close as I came.
Sha Tin, of course, was the race course where that sprint championship was won. What's it like? I've never been to Hong Kong. It's on the bucket list, but just describe what racing is like at Sha Tin. What's the attendance? What's the handle per day? I mean, it's just astronomical.
Yeah, on the bucket list, I'm telling you, and everyone listening and watching today, put it on the bucket list, make it happen. It's really something to see. 2 racetracks, 2 days of racing per week. So what they do is have a Wednesday night at Happy Valley and then usually a Sunday at Sha Tin. So they bounce back and forth. Happy Valley is the city track, very expensive real estate, surrounded by apartments that would sell for 10 million US per apartment. It's for really expensive real estate. And there, the average crowd would only be about 15,000. It really can't hold that many people. 7 furlong turf track. You're right on top of the action. It's electric to be there. As far as night racing venues, it has to be #1 in the world. There's nothing like it. In terms of handle, or as they say, turnover, even an 8-race card at Happy Valley on a Wednesday night would handle about 150 million US minimum, 150 or up. So it'll outperform a Breeders' Cup Saturday, every single one. On Sundays, typically a Sunday or a Monday holiday or an occasional Saturday, but it's only one day on the weekend at Sha Tin. That's the big track. And on Chinese New Year, the crowd can be, 100,000 people. On Hong Kong International Day, it'll be about 80,000 people. On a typical Sunday, it would be more in the 20s. But fabulous racetrack. That's where all the big races are run. None of the, there's only one graded stake at Happy Valley for the entire year. All the big races are run at the big track at Sha Tin, where they have both the turf course and a dirt track. The dirt track, they call it all weather. And so many of us in this side of the world think that means synthetic. It's not. It's an American style dirt track. And they just don't like the word dirt. So they use the term all weather. But the big races are all at Sha Tin. The lead up races for the Hong Kong Internationals are 3 weeks prior. So they still do it in the spacing between races. It's 3 weeks before. So November 17th will be the grade 2 races. And then the big ones on the Hong Kong International Race Day, where they'll come in from all over the world, will be held on December 8th this year. And when I say the big ones, it's 6 furlongs, a mile and a quarter, and a mile and a half, all on turf. Those are the 4 big group ones. In Japan, they would only run one graded stake on any given day. They'd never run more than 1 on any single race day. In Hong Kong, to bundle up and run 4 on that particular day is a big investment for them, and they put a lot into that day. But it's the whole week and the environment leading up and the atmosphere. It is like the Final Four in the NCAA basketball tournament. It's that kind of a feel. Your description certainly elevated the bucket list for many horse players listening and watching, because as you described it, it certainly sounds like a marquee day and week of racing at both racetracks located in Hong Kong. All right, we kind of remembered California Flag running in Hong Kong, but now we need to find the winner in the California Flag, which goes as race 7. There is one scratch the 5, leaves us with a field of 8. Johnny Padres, the 125-pound high weight, in the field as the 9-5 Maury Line favorite. But you're looking in a different direction, Bill. Tell us why. Well, look, it's a handicap, and I know some people like handicaps, some people don't. In Hong Kong, 98% of the races, I would say, are handicap races. It makes the races more competitive. And for some handicappers, they barely even look at the weights because they just don't believe weight makes that big of a difference. But the morning line favorite is Johnny Padres. He's a seasoned veteran. He's in good form. but he has the inside drawer, which might be a disadvantage, and he's got to carry the top weight. He's also coming back on a 2-week turnaround, so I'm going to leave him out. I like On the Whim, number 6. He's shown improvement in his last 2 starts, including a win in the California Dreamin' 2 months ago at Del Mar. He's sort of one of the new kids on the block in the Calbred program, and the turn back in distance from 1 mile and 6.5 furlongs is not a worry. He'll need his best. He'll need to fire his best shot, but I think he's capable of winning the race. And also, as a little bit of a value play, number 2, Barely Functional, also turning back in trip, which shouldn't be an issue. Gets a break at the weights, carries 7 pounds less than he did in his last start. He'll need to do his running from the back, but I'm sure Fast Buck with blinkers on will go out there and set a very good pace. So I see him as the value play and need to put him in.
Race number 8 begins the $5 late daily double with the low 15% takeout. We've got a good field of 11 sprinting 5.5 furlongs on the main track. Maiden Claiming Calbred 2-year-old fillies in for a $50,000 tag. It's a field of 11 because both 10 and 13 have been declared out of the race. Ron Ellis is first off the claim. Number 2, Gracie's Big Day is the lukewarm 7-2 Maury line favorite. How'd you see race 8, Bill?
Tough one for pick 6 players. This is a tough puzzle here. I'm going to go with the off the claim angle on this one. Number 2, Gracie's Big Day. First time off the claim for trainer Ron Ellis, who's, pretty good in that category. And a good work to suggest that maybe she's ready to rebound from a bit of a disappointing effort in her last start. She put up some good recent races at Santa Rosa and Sacramento. And she has speed to get in the mix early, which I think is important in this field. Number 8, Apple Valley Girl, second off the claim for trainer Steve Knapp. And she turned in a career best in her last start at Los Alamitos in a maiden special. The winner that day was in a different league. And the thing I like about Apple Valley Girl is she has enough natural speed to get in the game. And I think that's preferable in a 5.5 furlong race with a big field. Difficult race and some hard luck stories such as Newport Dreams and Sunset Grazing in their last starts. But I settled with 2-8 in this race, Gracie's Big Day and Apple Valley Girl.
Bill, quick analysis on race 9, which closes out the day but doesn't close out the week. That's because we have holiday racing tomorrow. Good 9-race card beginning at 1 p.m. Pacific time. But first things first, race 9 offers $1 super high five wagering with a $19,000 carryover. It's a split of race 5, same conditions, 1 mile on the turf for maiden claimers, $50,000 of the claiming tag. Scratch the 9, English Icon number 2, Mongolian Champ is a first-time gelding. Morning line favorite number 10, Kawasaki, the 5-year-old off a long layoff for trainer Richie Baltus. Who's it going to be in race 9, Bill?
Well, another tough one here. I took one-time Mark, number 5. He's been freshened by trainer Mark Klatt. Subpar effort last time, but he didn't get the best of trips in that race, and he gets another chance in here for a tag. Well back last time out, and he's run several good races against better company. You can't be overconfident backing him, but there's enough to like for me to put him on top. And underneath, number 1, Bound to Succeed, a license to improve. If you can get that good trip from the inside draw, show that he can be competitive. In his last race, he gets Hector Berrios today. I had to put him in with a chance at the price.
Don't forget, on every Saturday and Sunday during the autumn meet, we offer $1 coast-to-coast pick 5 wagering. It's a low 15% takeout minimum. It starts today with Gulfstream Park Race 8 at 1:35 p.m. Pacific time. You can see there's 3 Santa Anita races as part of the $1 coast-to-coast pick 5. Bill, I don't know where the 40 minutes went, but it certainly went by fast. It's been a pleasure having you on the seminar today. California is better today because of you being here. You bring a tremendous amount of worldwide experience, and especially that experience that you learned in Hong Kong that hopefully you can apply here for California racing. It's great to hear that you think California racing has a bright future. Thanks so much for your time and your insight today. Nothing but continued success.
Tom, I can't leave without saying how much of a fan I am of this segment. I think it adds a lot to the whole scene and the whole race day. You do a great job. And I also got to thank the man upstairs. And when I say that, I'm not talking about God. I'm talking about Frank Mirahmadis. He does a great job calling the races. So appreciate what you do.
Thanks so much for your time, Bill. Thanks for your time for watching as well. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll do it all again tomorrow, 11:50 a.m. Pacific time for the next seminar. Good luck, everybody. Have a great afternoon.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for our national anthem.